Welcome back into the Blurred Wire. I'm a little late to the party on this one because we're talking about Captain America Brave New World, which I saw earlier. Was it earlier? I think I saw it last week. It was like 2 weeks ago when I saw it. Um, and, so I'm going to do my official review of it, right? And I will start off by saying it was not a bad idea. I didn't necessarily feel like we needed this movie to move us towards the multiverse saga. Like when I'm looking at everything that's moving towards Kang, like if I'm looking at the overall picture, I don't necessarily think we needed this movie to get there, right? But you could also argue that we didn't really need Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. What they ended up doing with the plot didn't really help us get towards Thanos and the Infinity Saga. It was just kind of another thing to kind of bring us together and kind of teach us more about the Guardians. So my thing is we didn't really need this movie, and I'm like, they could have just done a Falcon and the Winter Soldier season two, but it wasn't a bad idea in that love the idea of seeing Red Hulk. And I think if you can't do another Hulk movie, the best place to put Hulk is probably, unless you're going to do a She-Hulk movie. But again, Red Hulk is not. I still would agree more of seeing Red Hulk. Like I would have rather seen Red Hulk in Captain America than in She-Hulk, just because it's kind of got that president angle, kind of got that political intrigue angle, and also, the Hulk and Captain America will always be linked because the Super Soldier Serum was Bruce trying to recreate it. Like, I mean, Bruce became Hulk because he tried to recreate the Super Soldier Serum using gamma radiation. So that's why they're always going to be, linked because that's what they were trying to create. Emil Blonsky was a super soldier, right? And that's Captain America. So that's how they're always going to be intrinsically linked. So it was kind of cool to kind of like bring those together in this storyline that ended up being like a sequel to Incredible Hulk 2. But that's the main issue with it. Like there's two issues with it, right? It's a sequel to Incredible Hulk 2 without Bruce Banner, and it's a mystery thriller without any mystery. So I'll go ahead and dive right in. There's going to be spoilers for this because I'm just going to be talking about my thoughts. So beware of all the spoilers if you haven't seen it yet. And I still recommend going to see it. It's not like it's a bad time. It's just the way it was marketed and the way it ended up coming out kind of left me feeling a little flat when I left out of the theater. And I'm glad took some time before recording it because it allowed me to get my thoughts to process. And then also watched a show called Zero Day on Netflix. And it wasn't like amazing, but it wasn't bad. And like I'm like, okay, this is what we kind of wanted, right? So I can kind of compare the two. So we'll talk about what I like. I mean, obviously, I really love that Sam was able to stand into his role as Captain America. And the Falcon versus Red Hulk fight was ultimately really awesome, right? We saw a lot in the trailers and it looked really cool and ended up being really cool. However, however, we didn't get, yeah, and it ended up being very cool. And I do like that they brought back the leader, and I do like that they were trying to tie up story ends that we hadn't seen. Like they were trying to tie up Tiamat, and they were trying to tie up the whole idea of they're trying to tie up Tiamat being there in the ocean. They're trying to tie up the leader and how Samuel Stearns got that stuff in his head and started turning into the leader. And trying to tie up, where's Ross and where's all that going with the Accords? What are the Avengers doing right now? So it was a lot of storylines to kind of juggle, right? And so this is where we kind of end up going right into the issues because again, I understand what they wanted to do. Like let's tie up some threads, and I'm always down for that because I want to see the MCU story progress. It's a universe, and sometimes it feels like individual stories. But the problem is, like, the tie up for Tiamat should have been in Eternals 2, right? And they could have mentioned it, but also it's like you didn't really need to say that like Tiamat had adamantium in him. Like it doesn't really make sense. And adamantium didn't really do anything to the plot. It just happened to be the thing that was happening during this time. But adamantium doesn't have anything to do with, like, it's not like the adamantium was used to create Red Hulk or anything like that. It had nothing to do with, it was just the MacGuffin, the mystery item that was in there. And it's like, it's stronger than vibranium, they say, but like, that's never been demonstrated. In the comics, vibranium is stronger than adamantium, right? But, and also, adamantium was supposed to be what Cap's shield was made out of. Like, it's supposed to be made of adamantium and vibranium in the comics, and I guess in the MCU, it's just vibranium. But again, the whole adamantium plot line with Tiamat, it ended up taking away from the rest of the story far more than I was anticipating, just because it wasn't very necessary, right? And it only felt like it was delaying the inevitable and what we all came for, right? Okay, so again, heavily into spoilers, heavy spoilers. Please beware. So when I say it's a mystery thriller without any mystery, it's because the entire plot of the movie and the entire um, way the movie is building up is designed to give you mystery and you're unsure of what's going to happen. So, like the first Captain America, the first Avenger, it is not a mystery movie. It's a World War II epic, right? And we all know that Captain America obviously survives in the movie, but it's a World War II epic and a superhero origin story. So we don't need to have any mystery. We're discovering Captain America, we're discovering Steve Rogers, and he fights the Nazis and Red Skull, right? Not really much mystery in there. Winter Soldier is a mystery thriller, right? Because we don't know who the Winter Soldier is. I didn't even realize that it was Bucky in the trailers because they always kept him with his mask on. I think they showed a shot they might have shown in the trailers where he was like, "Who's Bucky?" And I don't, and maybe that's just the issue with trailers nowadays. We get so many, and we end up watching them and reacting to them and podcasting about them like I'm doing right now, that it's hard for them to not give away everything in the movie. But again, it's like if you watched Winter Soldier in the theater and you knew exactly what was going to happen, you would be like, it wouldn't hit you as hard, right? And now we can all rewatch it and be like, oh my god, I can't believe or I didn't see that, or oh, I didn't see that coming. Oh my god, it's so cool because we've seen it and we know what happens, but it still has rewatchability because we're able to go back and look for the clues that ended up being what happened. And then even after that, we can still go back and rewatch it because we're still reliving that moment of discovering the mystery. Same exact thing for Captain America Civil War. The big mystery was that there were other Winter Soldiers. We knew there was going to be a fight between the Avengers, but they kept that mystery detail that was very important of other Winter Soldiers out there as a huge mystery. And then we finally discovered, and we were like, oh, are they going to have to go fight them? And then Zemo ended up killing him. And I was like, whoa, what? And there was another mystery and another turn that it took us on. So, like, the Russo brothers definitely brought that, thriller, spy thriller, espionage mystery to life. And then we get to Captain America Brave New World, and the trailer shows us Red Hulk. So we know we're getting Red Hulk. Cool. But the entire movie builds up to us getting Red Hulk. Your trailers already did that. Your trailers did that. So if you wanted to build up to getting to Red Hulk, you got to cut him out of the trailers. Like if that's your climax, if that's your magnum opus, if that's your this movie is all culminating into Ross turning into Red Hulk, then don't show us that in the trailers. We needed to cut that out completely. They needed to just build up and make it seem like Sidewinder was the main villain or something like that. Because as we're watching the mystery, we already know that Ross is going to turn into Red Hulk. And so Sam is learning the stuff and figuring it out as it's going along. And we as the audience already know it. It kind of felt like we were just like holding his hand, like, here, Sam. Hey, why don't you look over here? Oh, Samuel Stearns. Oh, guess what that means? Oh, he gave some pills to Ross. Does that mean he's gonna be Red Hulk? Maybe. It felt like we were on an explorer mission, It's like that's your and again, the movie is crafted in a way to invite mystery because it's like you're going for an espionage theme. You're going for a spy thriller theme. And that's how you marketed it. But there's no mystery. So we're watching it and we're like, oh, okay, this. So not exact. It's not like everything I thought was going to happen, but the movie didn't tell me anything I didn't already know, right? And again, that could be because of your trailers, but I was expecting Red Hulk to come out like at the beginning or something, or maybe even in the middle. Like I wasn't expecting that fight over the Atlantic Ocean where, they're fighting around Tiamat. I kind of thought that was the climax, and I thought Red Hulk was going to make multiple appearances. But the entire movie was building up to Red Hulk. And if that's the case, if your CGI budget only allowed for one of him, then that should have been the only time he was in it, right? Or if you wanted to have Red Hulk in the trailers, because that is a big draw, right? Right? Like I wanted to see this movie a lot because of Red Hulk, because I was excited to see him again. Then you got to start it differently, and you got to give us some kind of other mystery. Like I was talking to somebody, and they pointed out like how much cooler would it have been if the movie started with like if they were in like I guess Sam and Ross were in a private office, like they were at the beginning, and then Ross turns into Red Hulk in front of Sam. And Sam sees it and he's like, what the heck? And then Red Hulk starts destroying the White House and pretty much almost destroys Sam, right? Because the Falcon in no way is any match for Red Hulk. Even people were saying like like he should have taken the serum and maybe he could have held his own. No, Captain America cannot beat Hulk, right? Like Red Hulk would have taken down Bucky, anyone with the super soldier serum, U.S. agent. None of them are any match for Hulk, right? He's too powerful. He is exponentially stronger than a super soldier. He's stronger than Black Panther, right? So at least he's supposed to be. So you could have had Red Hulk starting off, destroying everything, but nobody saw Ross turn into Red Hulk. That could be part of the mystery, right? But because everybody saw it, that kind of ruined it. But if that was part of the mystery, right? Nobody saw who Red Hulk is, and then like Ross looks down at himself and sees himself as a Hulk, the thing that he literally hates, and then he just leaps away. Now we have another mystery. Now Sam's like, okay, where did Ross go? I'm the only one that knows that he's Hulk, that he's just turned into a giant Red Hulk killing machine. Everybody else just thinks that Red Hulk killed Ross, so I've got to go find him. And then because in the comics it was even cooler because you didn't know who Red Hulk was. They introduced Red Hulk, and it took a long time before they revealed it's Ross. Now, again, because the comics exist, it's harder to do that, right? It's harder to do that because as soon as we see Red Hulk, I mean, any comics fan would know that Red Hulk is Hulk, and anyone that reads the comics, maybe does podcast, would also probably reveal it. So, like, if you were trying to make a mystery of who is Red Hulk, we probably would be able to figure it out, right? Because it would be Ross, and we have that comics prior knowledge. But if you were trying to make the mystery of, okay, where did Ross go after this, and the mystery of who turned him into Red Hulk, that's the leader, right? And there could have been wild speculation, but that also meant like the Tim Blake casting returning as Samuel Stearns should have been kept way under wraps, the same way that Blade was kept way under wraps. Nobody knew that he was coming back. They shouldn't have shown him at all in the trailers. So that should have been a secret that leader was even in it, because then people would have been like, oh my God, they're tying up a storyline from Incredible Hulk 2. And then you would have had all this discourse on it afterwards. And then secondly, like another great mystery, again, this thing that doesn't make the most sense is where Bruce Banner is. And sure, again, we still want this to be Sam's movie. And they thought about like, okay, we want Bruce Banner to be in it, but we want this to be Sam's movie. And it's like, yeah, as soon as Bruce would come into it, that would probably take away from it being Sam's movie. But also, where's Bruce Banner could have been the plot, right? Like, imagine if Sam sees Hulk and is like, oh, hey, okay, I should probably go talk to the guy who controls his Hulk, right? And try to get him and help find Ross, and then we'll see what we can do after that. And then he discovers that Bruce Banner is missing. So the movie now has a mystery interlogue. We don't know where Bruce Banner is, and Sam's trying to figure it out. And then at the very end, we find out that Bruce is being held in some kind of bunker by the leader, maybe the leader's bunker, and he can trap him in there in suspended animation because he can't kill him because Hulk will come out. But he can trap him there in suspended animation, and Sam has to deduce all these clues in order to get there and find it. And on the way, he's attacked by the leader's personal thugs, the Serpent Society, Sidewinder. And they're attacking him on and off throughout the movie until he finally finds Bruce Banner. And then the leader could show up with Red Hulk, and then we could get a Red Hulk versus Hulk fight. Because I remember watching the fight with Red Hulk versus Falcon, and I just remember being like, okay, this is my climax. Man, I would much rather have a Hulk versus Red Hulk fight. I want that. Like, I want to see that. And so, and again, I don't know if that would have blew up the CGI budget to do both, but like Bruce Banner could have been your mystery as part of this mystery thriller. You could have worked him in, even if they showed Leader in the trailer and Red Hulk in the trailer. If you started the movie with the transformation, and again, I don't really know how the Tiamat stuff fits in if you're trying to find Bruce Banner, and honestly, it really doesn't. So that's why you don't really need to. Unless you just have it that like when Ross disappears, the vice president makes a bunch of aggressive moves to acquire the adamantium, and that's going on while Sam is trying to find Bruce Banner. And then the climax would take place at the base where the leader was from, and then that's when everything would get revealed. But after Red Hulk destroys everything, because again, nobody knows that Ross is Red Hulk, the leader could then use Ross as his puppet and be like, and reveal that like, hey, I can force you to turn into Red Hulk whenever I want, right? And so I can turn you into Red Hulk whenever I want. So if you want to remain president, if you don't want the people to see you as a Hulk, you're going to do what I say. And because Ross would rather have the power, he's forced to do what the leader says. All of that is so much more intriguing, and that was just us talking about it for like a couple of hours. And again, it makes me believe that this movie was definitely um changed because I think it was more meant to be a political commentary movie based upon what they did. Because like Falcon and the Winter Soldier wasn't really that much mystery. It was more political commentary than it was political thriller or mystery or something like that. And I think that's what he was going for. And I think with Trump and everything, I think it ended up changing because then they were like, okay, let's go more mystery thriller than political commentary. And you end up having a movie that just doesn't have a lot of mystery, right? But again, with political, if it's a political commentary movie, you don't really need mystery. That's not what it is, right? So I honestly think that's kind of what ended up happening. That's what feels like the change was because it felt like the best moments were probably, he probably wrote them to be more, like I said, political commentary. If he was going for a mystery movie or some kind of surprise that would have kept us in the dark, then we maybe would have had the leader not be revealed that he was coming back, or had Ross revealed as Harrison Ford, or anything like that. So it does seem like it was a change because, again, I'm like, for this to be a mystery movie, you gave us way too many mysteries. Or you, this is a mystery movie without any mystery, right? And that's what leads me to think this wasn't originally a mystery movie because once you let the cat out of the bag, there's nothing you can do. So that's what makes me think this wasn't originally a mystery espionage movie, and they added Sidewinder to kind of try to add that element. But if you watch the pitch meetings on it, it is so funny because he was like, yeah, and then we're gonna see Sam beat up a 60-year-old man. He's like, oh yay for elder abuse. Because again, on paper, the fight between Sam and Sidewinder was cool. But again, also Giancarlo Esposito is over 60. And it's like, well, yeah, if Sam didn't beat him, it would have kind of sucked, right? And like when we were watching it, the fight was exactly like Winter Soldier, even between the kick up at the top. And you could tell so hard that they were trying to be Winter Soldier. But it doesn't work because Sam is fighting a man who could be his grandfather. Like Captain America and Bucky were equals. You didn't know who Sam was fighting a man who could be his grandfather. He shouldn't lose. Like he literally shouldn't lose. It would have been sad if he did. So all of those things. And then my last kind of gripe is that even with everything that you ended up doing, I think Disney also kind of got hyped up in the Harrison Ford of it all, and they made him the main character instead of Sam. This was a Harrison Ford movie. This was a Thunderbolt Ross movie more than it was a Captain America movie. And his character was completely different. I think Harrison Ford was just kind of doing his take on Ross rather than William Hurt's take. And I think William Hurt's is a much better Ross because he was very confident, clear, concise. This is the right way. This is the only way. And this is how we do things. Ross seemed a lot more unsure of himself. I think he wanted to make him more vulnerable. But that was the thing. Ross, Thunderbolt Ross in the comics is not vulnerable. But the leader could exploit that by giving him Red Hulk and making him vulnerable because the Hulk is the one thing that he hates more than anything. And so all of that, like I wasn't impressed by Harrison Ford's performance. I don't think it was very good because I don't think it was very faithful to the character. It felt like we had to learn a new character. Like you could tell me that that person wasn't Everett Ross. You could have told me it was any other general, and I'd be like, okay, right? Like he was just a different character than Ross. And the movie spent time trying to show us that he changed and everything, and he's a different person now. And it's like, why? Why not just leave his character the same? Because by doing all this character work with Ross, now the movie's not Sam's anymore, it's Ross's, right? And so the thing I'll close out with, I think the thing that like put the stamp on me, like I did not end up enjoying it as much as I wish I had, was the way that Sam defeated Red Hulk with another speech. And after all the backlash over the speech in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, you're gonna end your movie with another speech? Oh, and defeat Red Hulk that way? Oh, it was horrifying. And the worst part is like that was the perfect moment for Betty to come out. And Sam could have had it in motion, could have been like, hey, hey, bring Betty. She'll turn him. I'll get him to the right spot and that'll turn him. Like it could have been Sam's plan. And he was just trying to distract Red Hulk enough to where he could get Betty in that. But that would have been where Liv Tyler came out. And instead, she just greets him in prison. And that was her big cameo. And it's like, you had her in the movie anyway. Like it makes way more sense for her to be the reason why he stops hulking out. And like you said, all of that just blows my mind how that was not the connection that was made. So let me know your thoughts on Captain America: Brave New World. I'm hearing a lot of great reviews. A lot of people really liked it. A lot of people really liked it as a one-off storyline. And I'm sure like all of my, you can pick apart my complaints if you want, if they're not really that make that much sense. But after a lot of people sit with it, it's kind of like, oh, that it doesn't sit with you for very long. Like it kind of leaves you. You know what I mean? It's not like because again, it's not a mystery or anything. So like once you walk out of the theater, even the initial excitement of seeing Red Hulk and everything, it all just wears off very quickly and it just kind of goes away. So let me know what you thought, of course. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, whatever it is, I want to know about it. And thank you again for tuning in to the Blurred Wire. Next up, we've got Daredevil because it's back. Can't wait.